The Scottish Rite Charitable Foundation of Canada was established in 1964 to promote charitable work within Canada, including the relief of poverty and the advancement of education by making grants to educational or other charitable organizations which carry on their work solely within Canada. Since its inception, the Scottish Rite Charitable Foundation has been funded entirely by donations and bequests from members, families and friends of the ancient and accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry of Canada.
It really is the benevolent arm of the Scottish Rite.
It's an organization that funds research into primarily dementia and Alzheimer's in the old and dyslexia and autism in the young.
Across Canada, people with dementia get help.
There's very few of us, I believe, that can't think of a relative or a friend who hasn't been impacted by puzzles of the mind in one way or the other.
To me, it's very important today on account of my wife died 2 years ago of Alzheimer's disease.
Each year, the foundation donates more than $420,000 in research grants to universities and research hospitals across Canada with the aim of discovering the causes and cures for these puzzles of the mind.
I think over the last 50 years, we've distributed over $14 million to worthy recipients in universities and research hospitals.
One of the things that they do is they give the grants to younger researchers. As a matter of fact, it's almost like seed capital, starting a researcher out, giving them a start in their career.
I couldn't believe when I got involved that we had so many young people.
I was so enthralled by the research that he had done and telling me that they haven't found the problems of stopping the Alzheimer's disease. But he said, I think we've found a way to slow it down.
They were one of my first funding sources. Yeah. They were very critical for getting my lab started.
This idea of supporting research in this regard, and particularly supporting research that can't really get funded readily through other funding structures, is instrumental, because we really need new thinking, new ideas bearing onto this very difficult problem.
We have to understand how the brain works. And secondly, then we have to understand how to repair it in case things do not go as well as we'd hope as we age. The Scottish Rite Charitable Foundation was able to fund a project that established important pathology.
As a physician who has been awarded funding and who's been able for the last 3 years or more, thanks to the funding, to pursue these research goals, I'm very, very grateful.
Because of the funding that we've managed to give, a number of researchers have been added to the field, and therefore the answers to the problems will be more easily found.
In addition, the foundation supports its local valleys to establish learning centers for children with dyslexia. The first learning center opened in 2003 in London, Ontario, providing free one-on-one tutoring to children with reading and comprehension difficulties associated with dyslexia. Now, with 8 learning centers across Canada utilizing the Ortan-Gillingham method, the Scottish Rite Charitable Foundation continues with its unique approach to freely helping children learn by tailoring to their individual needs.
Research is behind closed doors, but the learning centers have revealed how many people are affected by the good works we try to do.
It doesn't cure dyslexia, but it certainly helps them overcome the, if I may say the word, the disability associated with dyslexia.
I truly believe that we have a responsibility to do what we can to alleviate their condition.
I think through the learning centers we're helping young people to deal and cope with that.
It's amazing the difference it makes to these children's lives, and not just to their lives.
It just changes the lives of those children and their families.
It's now operating in 8 cities across Canada, and it provides free one-on-one tutoring to these children, and they use a multi-sensory method called the Ortan-Gillingham method.
I've seen some of the results of that, and it's absolutely mind-boggling. There's been some marvelous stories.
This is a program and an approach that teaches you actually how to think, and this approach works.
We provide quality, state-of-the-art, free remedial tutoring for children with difficulties in reading, writing, and related scholastic skills formally identified as dyslexia.
The message I would give parents is that there is help.
Thank you for not giving up on me. If they were to have given up on me, I don't know what I would have done.
We had actually the parent-teacher interview just last week in which the teacher is amazed at how well she's doing.
She started to get better marks in school. She's starting to read a lot of books.
Just seeing these children progress and the ripple effect that it has on their families when they can finally learn how to read is just tremendous.
Keep doing what you're doing. I cannot thank you enough from the bottom of my heart. What you've given my daughter is a future. She went from not being able to read or write to reading, writing, and when we say reading voraciously, she's forever got a book.
Funding for the Scottish Rite Charitable Foundation's honorable endeavors is provided by an established endowment built, managed and supported by the Scottish Rite Masons, family and their friends, as well as the general public. With their mission to fulfill their belief in benevolence and sharing of what they have with their fellow humans in need, the demand for foundation funding far outstrips its means. As such, you may have been asked by your Scottish Rite friend, will you help us solve the puzzles of the mind with a donation?
We believe the human mind is key
to the physical, mental, and spiritual well-being.
As such, the Scottish Rite Charitable Foundation funds research to help solve puzzles of the mind.
And in learning centers for children with dyslexia.
Will you help us solve the puzzles of the mind with a donation?
We'd like to expand our programs. These things all cost money. There's only one way that we can arrange to do that, and that is to raise more money.
We're certainly hoping that the 50th anniversary in 2014 will be a reason for people to dig a little deeper.
This being their 50th anniversary year, the target is to raise $1 million across Canada.
The Foundation's continued work and belief that the human mind is key to physical, mental, and spiritual well-being is surely its lasting legacy.
In this book, they state their goals, and they state how they hope the people in 50 years will look at them. They hope that the people, the directors and the people of the foundation, will in 50 years see that what they tried to accomplish more than succeeded. Well, that is absolutely true. They started with $100,000 gift from Supreme Council, and now, of course, the fund's over $15 million.
I think they'd be very proud. What they started has become quite successful.
It's doing very, very well. And now that if we can collect $1 million next year, that means it should be growing every year all the time.
There was no question in my mind that this thing was going to take off.
It's through the support of donors like the Scottish Rite Charitable Foundation that we're able to conduct research that will eventually translate into better patient care and services for our community.
I would like to really say a big thank you to people at the Scottish Rite Charitable Foundation, and thank also all their supporters that given a lot of time, money, energy, effort, and passion to all the cause that they're involved with.
What can I say? It's just a fantastic organization, and the fundraising is something that makes a big difference for society.
There's a lot of people that aren't as fortunate as we are. And we have an obligation, not only as Canadians, but as Scottish writers, to make a difference. And I believe for the Scottish Rite Charitable Foundation, we will do that.
The foundation has a wonderful future in helping society at large.
Happy 50th anniversary, Scottish Rite Charitable Foundation of Canada. We are grateful for all of your efforts, compassion, and energy that immensely impact the world, the community, and the mind.